he would always emphasize the need for all of us to be in wudu when we are in the masjid. He always emphasized the fact that when we are in the masjid, we should make a special note to only do dhikr. If you're not doing dhikr, at least be quiet. Murshid repeated this all his life. Many times, sitting right here, I can see him, I can visualize. He would say that this masjid is a place that Allah has blessed us with. It is something that we should be very careful, we should cherish this, and we should protect it and use it as a means of progression for our spiritual intelligence, especially. So he would emphasize that while you're in masjid, always be in the zikr and the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing Murshid would always say is, do not make your religion hard on you. Again, also based on the hadith, the inspired hadith of the Prophet, we should not make our religion hard on us. Do what is easy and do it continuously. Get in the habit of doing things repeatedly and something that comes easy to you. Make it part of your living. Murshid would always emphasize that. And when I would go to him for any ta'aleem, he would emphasize that. Do something that you can be consistent with and do it regularly and stick to it. Very important message. And the third one was he would always narrate to me an incident, or even a naqliyat actually, of Imam Maud in his last days. Imam heard a despair from Bandagi Miyan Shah Ahmad about Imam possibly parting and returning to his Creator. And Imam asked who it is that is crying or is in despair or is very upset. And he said to Bandagi Miyan that the time of despair is not when the Imam is returning to his Creator, but it is the time of despair is when Allah is not in your heart, or the dhikr of Allah is not in your heart. The Murshid would always repeat that. And for all of us, it's a very direct analogy. It's a very direct lesson that if we want to continue the legacy of your Murshid, then it is important for us to at least act on these things. If you want to put it into, as Syed had very eloquently said, that Murshid was a perfect example of doing things practically, putting things in action, doing amal. And for us, if we want to continue his legacy, and if we want to remember him as our Murshid, I think these are the things we should do. Right? We should respect the etiquettes of the masjid and only engage in dhikr when you are here. If you have come here, if Allah has brought you here, engage in dhikr. And do things that you can consistently and repeatedly do. And third, remember that the essence of Mahdi, is the zikr, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that, 3 anecdotal points, I would like to actually read what Shiraz has written. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Shiraz Muhammad Khan Bozai has written a memoriam, and I want to read it. Shiraz writes, when seeds are planted, a tree emerges. When the seeds of love are planted, a fruit-bearing tree emerges. When the seeds are of selfless love, a love that is rooted in both compassion and self-sacrifice, then the result can only be a vast garden. For Allah has said, and what is the reward of goodness but goodness? From Surah Rahman. How fortunate are the souls who labor for the sake of Allah. Indeed, how fortunate those souls must be whom Allah allows to see the fruits of their labor. Such is the story of compassion and self-sacrifice of my beloved hero Murshid, Hazrat Abulfatah Syed Nusrat Qibla TashreefullahiRH. His story is our story. For those of us in North America who gravitated towards him in great numbers, his service to Allah and his mission and commitment to Allah's deen has had and always will continue to have a profound, lasting